Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video today. Today was WandaVision Day. This is episode, I think, what, 4, Beth?
5?
4 or 5, I forget. I think it's 5. But, so we start off this episode with, we're in Westview, and it's kind of like Facts of Life meets Full House meets Family Ties themed. And we see the babies and Wanda and Vision are having trouble trying to get them to stop crying, and just anything they're doing isn't working. She's trying to use magic on them. That's not working. And then Wanda's like, okay, that's weird, that's not working. I even told my sister, I'm like, that's weird, the magic's not working on them to make them stop crying. And Vision had the binkies in his ears, and then she's like, and Wanda's like, that's not what you use them for. He's like, oh, they're not used to you. They're not meant to be used as to keep hearing out or whatever. And I thought that was funny because it was just like a funny little thing. But so we end up getting the binkies in their mouth, but then end up spitting them out and they keep crying. And then here comes the neighbor. I forget the neighbor's name. I think her name is the neighbor's name. What is it? God, I forget the neighbor's name. What is it? What's her name? Agnes? Yeah, Agnes. So we end up, the neighbor comes over, Agnes, and right away, Vision knows something is up. From what we saw from last episode, when Vision came back in from talking to Norm and Norm and Agnes, right when he is done talking to them and comes back in and asks, where's Monica? Wanda said, oh, she had to go. And right away, he knows something is up. So he knows something is up because every time Wanda says something or something always plays out right away for her. And he knows this, that's weird, like, it's, like, not normal. Because he's like, it's weird that she comes in here and you're just doing magic in front of her. That's what's going on. And just things are just played out too weird. He knows something is up, and she knows that sort of he knows. And then we end up getting to the point where she turns, she's like, well, they go over and they're like, oh, do you hear that? The crying stopped. And Wanda and Vision go over to the cribs, and they're not in the cribs anymore. They turn around, and they're like, I don't know, like 5 years old or something like that. Like, that's insane. Like, they're growing really, really quick. And I feel like I heard something about this in the comic books. Like, I guess they age quicker. I think I heard about something like that in the comic books. I'm not very familiar with, their kids and stuff, but I swear to God I heard something like that. I want to know in the comments if you know anything about their kids. But all I know is that I know they have powers, but we haven't got to that point yet, but we kind of had hints to them having powers by what Wanda's, like, the Easter egg she kind of leaves in there about talking to them. Like, oh, you guys are quick, and I think they have, like, speed powers, if I'm correct. But all I know is that she was shocked and Vision was shocked that they grew up pretty quickly. And then we get to the point where, Vision, has to, we cut to the point where we're outside of the dome now, and they're kind of like, they're asking Monica what happened to her in the dome, what information she can tell them, because last time we saw her, she was telling everybody that Wanda was the person that's making everything, like putting everybody under a trance inside the dome, doing everything. She's behind everything. She's the mastermind. And even she knows to an extent that Wanda isn't a bad person. She's just going through grief and pretty much trying to defend her in the big debriefing of when, I forget Monica's friend that works with SWORD. But I feel like he's sus as hell. I feel like he's a villain. And I feel like Agnes is, like, working together with Wanda because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Agnes is not an innocent person in this show. I feel like she has something to do with, I feel like she's partnered up maybe with that SWORD guy. I don't know. I feel like there's such a bigger picture here, and we're going to get to that at the end, like the season finale. But all I know is that Monica was trying to defend her, and so was Jimmy Woo, saying, because this guy literally tried to point her out, to say that she was a villain, saying at one point, she was a radicalist, and she was the one, she was helping, wanted to go get experimented on her and Pietro by Hydra. And like, oh, she caused all the problems in Lagos. She was attacking the Avengers at first, and Jimmy was like, no, at first she didn't know, but she earned her trust by the Avengers, and trying to defend her. And literally, after that, he walks over to Kat Dennings' character Darcy, saying, it might be rude, but this, like, I hate to say it, but this guy, and Darcy was like, yeah, a jerk, and because they know this dude's an ass. He's a straight up ass. He keeps thinking Wanda's a villain, even though she's not. She's going through grief by losing Vision from Thanos, by losing Pietro from the whole issue with Ultron. She's lost so much, and she's never won anything. And I totally love how, like, Jimmy Woo started defending Wanda, and then next thing you know, here comes Monica, and then I love how she said that, she would have beaten Thanos if, Thanos didn't, rain fire. Like, Wanda was the only one powerful enough to do that. But she says that right when they're talking about the clothes and how the clothes, like what exactly is happening. Like, is she like making the clothes for people for the fitting the whatever time of like her TV broadcast is, or is she like actually forming whatever clothes they had literally to whatever clothes they were wearing and formed them to the exact timeline, which she technically did, because Monica was wearing her bulletproof vest in her sword gear, went into the place, and it turned into all like whatever time period piece clothes that they were, and they went in there, and right away they're like Darcy and Jimmy were like, whoa, that's insane how she was able to do that. And then they're like, oh, here, and then they want to see if it's real, so she ends up shooting the gun at it. It's bulletproof Kevlar, because that's what she was wearing, so it formed to whatever the outfit was. And I find that really cool, that she is literally not, she's like forming the reality. She's affecting the reality. She's not making people close. She literally is forming whatever the way everything looks to that exact time. She's totally changing the reality, and I bet you that's what's going to bring in Doctor Strange. I feel like she's opening so many possibilities that I feel like Doctor Strange cannot not know this is going on, because he even said to Tony in Infinity War, he's like, I protect your reality, to Tony, and he said, I protect your reality, douchebag. So pretty much, I feel like he's definitely going to know at some point that something is up. And I also love how Monica was going to call in somebody that she knows, and she works in the space program, and who else that we know that works in that space program? The Fantastic Four work in that space program. They work in going across the galaxy and finding things. I feel like this is such a big way for them to open the Fantastic Four realm. And they were talking about, oh, I have a Monica was like, oh, I have a friend that works in like I forget, like she said like I forget like I think she said like quantum theory or something like that. She said something, and I know that has something to do, I feel like, with Reed Richards. I feel like that's maybe a long shot, but I feel like Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four I feel like they're going to be showing up real soon, as we know, because they're going to be making a movie. So I feel like they're really going to make Easter eggs hinting towards them, because, I mean, that's the only space program we know that could really give them the chance for them to go to space and get their powers. So I'm thinking either maybe it could have happened when she got blipped out of there and then came back. Maybe the space program already happened, because right now it's shut down. The space program, all flying throughout outer space, is shut down. So that's what makes me think that maybe they already have their powers, and she wants to catch up with him and see what he's doing, and he has his powers. I don't know if that's the case. All I know is I feel like that was a big Easter egg hint when she said I have somebody and tried texting them or calling them. I feel like that's a big possibility that popped right into my head. I'm like, oh my god, it could be Reed Richards. There was just so many surprising things in this episode. And then we end up going back in the dome and of Westview, and, Vision's at work, knows something's up. They end up getting a big, email through Sword, and it's from Darcy saying, oh, this is happening. And they all think it's a joke, and they all expect, Vision's character to make jokes because he's the office funny guy, and ends up thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna take this information, and I'm gonna put it in your head, and then it's gonna make you realize that you're in a trance. You want to see if that Wanda was actually behind everything that's going wrong. And he even said, his friend at work said, oh my god, I need to call my family. Oh my god, you have to stop her. She's hurting me. And And then he was freaking out too much because, I mean, yeah, who else wouldn't be freaking out if you knew you have a life and then someone made you forget, and then but occasionally something is up because you're breaking through the mind trance and then you can't get out, you're trapped. It's like you're trapped. It's like you're literally in the sunken place almost. It's scary. So I love how he knows something is wrong. He ends up going home, but we don't end up seeing him for a while, but he ends up going home after work. And we know something big's going to happen. And then we get to the point where the Tommy and, Bethany? Tommy and Billy, Wanda and Vision's kids, end up finding a dog. They're in the sink. They end up standing in front. She's like, oh, you guys are fast. You guys are standing in there in front of that sink very weirdly. And it ends up being a dog. I thought they didn't do the dishes, but it ended up being a dog. So when they wanted to keep the dog, Vision comes back home from work. And he even's like, actually, that didn't happen yet. I think that happened before we get to Vision at work. But they want to keep the dog. Agnes walks in or whatever, I guess with the dog cage. I guess that happened earlier on. But Vision went to work. He ends up coming back from work. But before we get to that, we end up get to the point where the dog, I guess, got out. And we end up finding to the point where they get the dog. Well, they want to get the dog back, but the dog ends up dying in a bush. I guess they ate these bad plants, I guess, these bad leaves, ends up dying. Vision comes back home from work after, finding out that, Wanda's behind everything. And then we get to the point where even before that, they send a drone in there, right when they find out the whole bulletproof vest thing and the whole manipulating of the reality. Wanda and, no, not Wanda, I meant Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy end up getting a plan thinking, okay, maybe if we send something in there early timed, around the time of the broadcast, she won't change the reality of it, and we can start talking to her. They send an old drone in there, but it ends up, I guess, having a missile in there, but Darcy, Jimmy, and Monica don't know that, but the one jerk knows that he put a missile on there just in case she wouldn't comply to break down the whole reality simulation. But when Monica's talking to her, Wanda's eyes turn straight red in the gray of the screen, and that was scary, and then she ends up stopping the broadcast from the drone. And there's lights, the alert lights going on, and meaning that someone's coming through the barrier. And that was the same scene we saw in the trailer of this week's episode, where we saw a shadow looking like it wanted to come through the barrier to the other side of Westview. And she ends up grabbing the drone. In her costume, ends up throwing the thing towards them, saying, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. And even Monica's like, I know you don't want to hurt anybody in there, but you can't be doing this. And just the one guy just keeps pushing her, and Wanda ends up putting the whole gunfire that they have on her onto that one guy. And then she ends up walking back into the dome and ends up making it all red. Because she's not hiding the thing that she's doing this anymore. It's all red now, this big portal now. But even just Vision knows something is up. Vision knows that this was what's happening. And even when what gets me is when the guy is telling everybody what Monica told about what's going on inside the dome, he ends up showing everybody a video about Wanda going in to Sword headquarters, getting Vision's body. He held that information from Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy that entire time. He did not mention that when she came onto the spot. He could have told her earlier before, and she was that's messed up, because he could have told her earlier before she even took the job, because to give her some information. So if she did get sucked in there, she could when she broke out of the trance, she could have talked to Wanda about that. But no, he held that information, and that was just cut, because that would have been helpful, because now she's able to do that and make someone come back to life like that. When the little kids wanted to age, when they found out the puppy died, when Agnes found the puppy in her bush, and they found out that their dog died, they wanted to age up because of the age. And Wanda's like, don't you dare age up, I know you're, and they're like, it's very sad, and they're like, she's like, I know it's sad for now, but you can't run away from it. You don't age up, because she wants them to just live their life and take it slow, don't age. And they even said that you can bring back the dead, meaning I feel like they even know something is up, because it's her and Vision's kid, so I feel like they know that she can do this. They know that they don't see the lies that she's doing. They know it's all magic. They know what she's doing, and they know that it's possible, because maybe they know that Vision is actually dead. I feel like that's the price that, since she had kids, they don't see through her illusions. They're the only ones that can see through the actual truth. So I feel like that's why they said that to her, and she's like, how do you know that? And why are you saying that? And Agnes is like, you can do that. So I feel like, some way, I feel like Agnes is playing that she doesn't know things. I feel like Agnes, I don't know, I feel like somewhat she is in on all the stuff that's going on. I want to know what you guys think in the comments about that, but what?
They say Rhodey is also an aerospace engineer.
Rhodey?
Yeah.
I don't know if Rhodey has anything to do with it. I highly doubt it.
A former jet pilot and an aerospace engineer.
I know, but I don't know if Rhodey... I feel like they were really hinting towards Fantastic Four, because they even said in one of the Easter eggs that, you know, the Fantastic Four has something to do with the aerospace program.
This could be opening the universe.
Yeah, so there's so many things going on, and then we end up getting to the end scene where Vision comes back from work, you know, sees them, and he says, it's okay, boys, about the dead dog, and then they end up going back. I guess they're trying to sleep upstairs, the boys. Wanda's downstairs in the kitchen. She's putting away all their toys, and Vision comes back from outside burying the dog, and he's like, oh, you know, it's strange, you know, we end up getting a dog, and we end up burying it the next day. He knows that she's doing all this. And then she tries to roll the credits, saying, you know, everything is fine, you know, because he even said that, you know, you can't control me, you can't, I see through what you're doing. He has a family, you know, like, you can't control me like you can control them. She tries rolling the credits. He's like, no, you're not doing that. She ends up walking in the other room. He's like, he had a family, you know, he had, you know, he was saying that he was feeling hurt and feeling all this. You can't be doing this. You know it's wrong. And it looked like he said, stop lying to me, started floating up like he wanted to fight her. He wants her to stop the bullcrap. And he's like, I don't even know who I am outside of whatever, outside Westview. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who I am. Meaning that he doesn't know he's dead. And we end up seeing in trailers that, you know, Agnes tells him that, you know, either breaks through whatever she's got going on, saying, oh, you're dead. So he ends up finding out, of course, he's dead. And then, as we know, from trailers they've shown us. But I feel like, again, there's something wrong with Agnes. Because she didn't even want Norm telling Vision about what was going on, because Norm even knew something was up. I don't know if Norm's in on it or broke whatever, and Agnes is the only one in on it with Wanda. I don't know. All I know is that Agnes, something is up. Big time with her. I think something's wrong. I think she's a witch. People said in Easter eggs, you know, she's a witch, and apparently she is working with the MCU's version of the devil, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's the guy from Sword. I don't know. All I know is there's so many things going on, so many possibilities. And then there's a doorbell, and then Wanda's like, I know you don't trust me. He's like, Vision's like, I'm taking out all possibilities of all things normal now, because I know that I don't know what's real and what's not real. And then she ends up going to the door, and then right away there's big suspense, because we see gray hair, and they mentioned earlier in the episode about Pietro, because their kids were saying, oh, did you have a brother, you know. And she's saying, yeah, I did, you know, but, you know, he's far away now, and of course I miss him, but we all know he's dead, but she didn't tell them that he's dead. And we see the gray hair, and right away, outside the Westview, we end up seeing Darcy looking in the monitor like, what? And then we end up seeing that it's Evan Peters' Quicksilver from X-Men in the world playing Pietro. And right away, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, they just opened the world for X-Men right away. Because I know Evan Peters wants to return as Quicksilver, like, for the X-Men. I mean, it sucks because I really like, I really like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I really like him as Quicksilver. I loved him in Kick-Ass. You know, he's one of my favorite actors. But it makes sense, and I love how Darcy's like, did Wanda really recast Pietro? Meaning that, I guess, since Pietro's body's been like in the grave for how long? And it makes sense because, you know, my brother was telling me that Vision's body wouldn't you know, age and wouldn't, you know, do anything because, you know, he's a robot. So she can only bring back, I guess, bodies that, I guess, recently die, maybe. It can't be like for like months and months on end or years on end, because I think it's been years, of course, because, you know, the big, you know, coming back and everything. And of course there was, you know, months that happened after Age of Ultron, then it came to years when they blipped, and she just can't bring it back, and, you know, she's not going to go wherever to get him. But the fact that Pietro was mentioned, meaning there's multiverse possibilities, as we know, for this next phase of Marvel, because, you know, the whole Spider-Man 3, Tobey and Andrew are coming back, and apparently, Kevin Feige sent it to the multiverse opening up. I feel like there is a chance she might have taken that Pietro from that X-Men universe, grabbed him, and put him in this universe where he doesn't know anything, of course, because once you get in that dome, you don't remember things. So I'm thinking maybe when that simulation drops, will he say, "Where's my friends? Where the hell am I?" And will that instantly open the world for the X-Men? Like, the X-Men we know will come over from that world to this world. I feel like that's a big possibility. I really want to know what you guys think down in the comments. Will the other X-Men that we know from the other movies come back? Or will this be the only person that wanted to come back? I don't know. But I feel like this is such a big opportunity to say, oh, the X-Men are here now. She opened that inkling of taking him from that universe. What if the other X-Men want to know where he went and then come over to this universe? There's so many possibilities. I really want to know what you guys think down in the comments. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments about what you thought about this episode. I think it was the best episode, hands down. We're really picking up steam to the finale. I cannot wait. And I'm just overall, I want to know, who do you think is behind this? I feel like it's not Wanda. I feel like it is Wanda on top of, I feel like Agnes is involved. I feel like maybe that sword guy is involved. I feel like there's so much of a bigger picture here, and I really want to know what you guys think down in the comments. But again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to my channel, put on those notifications, leave a like on this video, and because that lets me know that you guys like these videos, and it makes me want to keep putting them out for you guys, and because I'm on that grind, I put them out as quick as possible, and I would love for you to be a part of the community here, and yeah, just let me know down in the comments. I want to know your theories. And I want to talk to you guys about this because I love talking to you guys. So I'm going to end this here. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you next time, next Friday. Peace.